Hi, welcome back to LizHandcrafted. I have to solve a problem. I need to be able to display my little lip balm holders, and I've got some little mini wallets. I just crack myself up sometimes. Anyway, that I need to be able to display. I need to put rings on these, but these little mini wallets and these lip balm holders, and I need them to be able to display for my market coming up. So these little pegboards I got at Dollar Tree. I'm trying to keep the budget down a little bit here, right? We all try to do that, right? It's not just me, right? And I got the pegs. I thought that'd be all good. And the whole intention is to do the spinny thing, right? Right? Problem is that this thing is, I suppose once it's like glued together and glued to the base, it might be okay, but it just wants to walk. And everywhere I see, like on Pinterest and such, they're just zip tying them together, and they're probably like epoxying them to the base. Well, also to top it off, I mean, I'd only be able to use like only half of it because my items are longer. You know, at some point, time is a crucial situation. So I came up with an idea. Y'all, I have a laser engraver or a laser cutter, an XTool laser. I'm going to make my own pegboard. Yep. So I thought to myself, you have a laser engraver. What do you think? Not to mention that I can brand it how I want to. Now, I did research and figured out that, and I'm looking at this right now and realizing it is not equal. So if something had to be 2 pegs, it wouldn't fit according. This one is set up to 6mm holes and 1 by 1 spreads. Now, I'm realizing as I'm sitting here looking at it, that's different than this. I don't know what the difference is. And at this point, you know what? I don't care, because I made my own pegboard with my branding on it on top of that. So this, I can take, hang on, and put my pegs in it just like that. Now, what I also figured out is that, I only have one little hooky, is that I have to be able to stand it up somehow, right? So, I'll show you what I did. Okay, so I solved the problem with, I got to be able to stand it up. So here's what it looks like. What do you think? And then I had to figure out how am I going to stand it up. So I went into XTool. XTool is the design tool that I use for the XTool, right? And I just needed to go find something to hold it up. Now, you could easily do that with just like a frame stand. And then you scoochy, because one part of the objective is I needed it to be raised up a little bit, because I got other stuff in the market that's in front of it. But what do you think? So I made my own pegboard to make that happen. And this is nothing but a basket, one of those organizer basket things from Hobby Lobby. I use these a lot for my fabric swatches and, you know, the things that are in cubes. If I can reach one right here. Like this. Like these. Anyway. So this way it goes just like that. So I made my own pegboard. And it has my own branding on it. Now, the things that I have noted. So the stand that I'm looking at from my point of view is, they're just fine. I don't see anything wrong with it. I do see that I'm going to have to, at least for the market, because people are going to be pulling and pushing. People aren't gentle with your stuff when they're looking at things. I'm going to have to stabilize that down in the back. But let me show you real quick. So here we go. And it also gives me the ability, I could actually just put extra stuff right there instead of having multiple layers out here. I don't know. It's like the scarcity mindset. I'm not sure if that's a thing with these or not. But I will stabilize that. I'm probably just going to put alien tape down on that backside. More than likely. To keep it from moving. And all, you know, that way they can kind of be moved around a little bit. So for those of you who might be interested in how this is done, I will take you through just a little bit of the basics of what I did here. And that'll be good. Oh, by the way, I'm making cup koozies as well. So, like I said, I'm making cup koozies as well. And these, like this, and they're just, you know, you wrap around your cup. So I got a pattern with the commercial rights and stuff. And you know how people get the stuff in acrylic? Well, I thought to myself, I can just cut that out of basswood. I mean, yeah, you can't see the pattern behind it, but if you're going to fussy cut things, then that's different. And so I just did that so that way I could do a whole bunch of the same thing, making it repeatable. Anyway, I got to sew those up here shortly. So I'm getting ready for market. So you'll have to excuse the message you're probably looking at. Because y'all, getting ready for a market is not easy. Just saying. Just saying. So, oh, here is, these are dry. What the latches look like, I will take better pictures of this, but this was a file that was in the templates for XTool. So I'll see if I can put credit to the person who designed these. They're really cute though, and they make little Pac-Mans. I'll have to show you that maybe. But it basically makes it to where the leg doesn't come out too far. Instead it just goes plump, you know, kind of thing. And then it stays flat. Like that. But that's how, and then I just glued them to the board. That's all it was. It solved my issue. I already had the basswood and my laser engraver. So I will take you with me on doing one of these real quick. Just so you know, kind of have an idea how some of that works. Okay? Just hang with me. Alright, we're over here at the laser engraver. Now, what I'm using here is 12 by 12 basswood, 3mm. It's just the standard stuff on Amazon. Okay, now when I'm going to go over a couple of the basics here for using a laser. I'll be honest, not completely thoroughly, but a couple of little things that I always do. So I usually use my board to square up my grid. Okay, so I want to show you real quick the things that I do to help me with just the simple stuff like this for laser engraver for the D1, XTool D1s. Is I take a board, and it really doesn't matter whether it's a fresh board. All it needs to be is a square, as in like straight board. Sometimes I even use like a ruler. It just needs to have enough surface area that the waffle is. I can square it up. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to push that against my rail to make sure that that is at least squared up. So I'm going to cut this, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in here. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my light. And then I have an acrylic ruler here that I use for quilting and, well, a whole lot of other stuff. Either way. But the point is it has very square edges. So I lay that in there. The reason why I'm doing this is this puts my material closer, and it doesn't have to be completely centered. I am eyeballing it, but it makes it square with the machine. So that way when I frame out, I don't have problems with it being straight. Now, I placed it in there, so we no touchy the board anymore, right? Okay, now I know that because I've already done this once at least, it's probably pretty close to being right there. And don't forget to focus. Don't forget to focus the head. I constantly forget to focus the head. That's why I say don't forget to focus the head, because I'm constantly messing that up. So I'm going to go over to my computer real quick and get this ready to frame. And then I'll end up having to turn on fans and stuff because, and then it'll get probably louder. But hang on a few minutes. My computer's over there, and yes, it would be easier if it wasn't, but it is. So, okay, well, I'm going to frame this. I can see that it is looking about like where it's supposed to be, and I don't care how many times I run a thing, I always frame it. Unless I have a jig set up, I always frame it, because I hate wasting material. I can see I'm within my area. Okay, it's ready to roll. Now, knowing fully well my next set is going to be process, just in case you have questions about this system, it is an exhaust system. I have a video, by the way. I'll put it, where am I facing? I'll put it in the corner someplace, wherever it lands, about the exhaust system. It works, y'all. So, now granted, is it going to remove the toxins from the air? For the most part. You can't get rid of the smell, so that tells me that there's something still there, but it's highly reduced. I can definitely tell you that much. Now, I'm going to turn on my air, so yeah, my sound is going to be a little different. So, I have an air system. It's actually pretty quiet, though. And then I need to turn on my exhaust system. So that is my... What the heck? I'll have to look up what that's called. It's the air that goes through the laser head. Now this is my exhaust system. And it's actually louder than the pump that I'm using. I'm using an ultra quiet pump. Have y'all ever been to, what do they call that thing? Black Friday stores? Well, my husband picked that up for me. Clearly it's an Amazon thing, because that's what they're based on. I'll try to look it up and find it for you. Alright, sorry about that. I have, my computer is in a different place entirely than my system. So, we are going to start this. Since we have framed, zip that up, let it roll. So it's doing the engraving part right now. And by the way, just for the sake of knowledge, I'm trying to help you get. The camera works funky, y'all. It's a lot harder to do your own stuff than it is other people's. I find that anyway. But I can tell you that the XTool settings, with the exception of that engrave on the basswood, have been spot on. I don't actually mess with them too much. I like what they're doing. It's usually right on target. I like it. So I'm gonna let that engrave and cut, and I'll show you the end product. Okay, so I'm just gonna push that out of the way so you guys can see what's up. Now, just a note, I put this frame on it only because I want to do those circles. I want to curve my edges. And that way I don't have, so one of the things with the laser is trying to hold this in a way that works, which by the way is not the easiest thing to do. So the point behind when I use that frame is because I could take it all the way and then just do the curved points, but that's going to fault on that honeycomb, and just no point in doing that. So I literally just do that. I do a square or rectangle, whatever your size is. I mean, I was just trying to use the majority of this. And then round it out, only because it looks nicer. It's not necessary. So I'm just going to go through and poke all these things out. And seeing how I only have one hand at the moment. Anyway, so, and then you clean up your mess to make sure you don't have a fire hazard, because it leaves all of these little thingies. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Okay, so that's how it's done. And then you have yourself a branded piece of pegboard. And then I'm going to stick those little, hang on a sec. I do find it amazing how difficult it is to get that camera straight. Oh well, I'm going to go with it for right now. Alright, so we have what we just cut on the laser. What's cool about doing stuff like this is then it's duplicatable. See, all the holes line up. See? Anyway. Alright. And then all I'm going to do with this is a couple little things that I came across. This is the one I just did. Yeah. Alright. Is I'm going to flip that over. I need to get my ruler back. Alright. So, I've got these guys that are glued. And what I'm trying to do here is make sure, because if you have two stands on something, they have to be lined up. Is I'm trying to set these up to where they are just barely below the holes, so it's not impeding any more than is absolutely necessary. And square. So I'm using my ruler to square it off with the side of the board and do that. So I'm just using Elmer's on this, mostly because I'm too lazy to go out and get the wood glue, which would be the better tool. Yes, I'm well aware of that. Nobody has to tell me, but that's okay. You can tell me all you want to. You can tell me anything that you'd like to in the comments. Please be nice. And I'm just spreading that out, just like wood glue. You know, you need to make sure it's spread out. You don't just do a string of it and hope for the best. If you want something to actually hold worth a darn anyway. So these are already glued. The tabs are glued to the board level because I used the silicone mat to do that with. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and just hit this in here to where they're as straight as possible with that edge. My intention behind that is to not lose any more holes than I need to lose. And I'm pretty sure the branding is right there, because this is the, when I designed it, I just didn't put the bottom holes on it. So that ought to work good there. And I'll do one, just turn it around gently, because I haven't secured that. In other words, I haven't done anything to make that make sure that's going to be stable, clamped it of any sort, so we're going to go with that. Alright, and the other one, we will do the same thing. Nothing like using a tool that's not right for the job. That's okay. That's one thing that's nice about Elmer's. It's pretty easy to clean up. Although I have to say, the Elmer's must fall under shrinkflation. There used to be, one, thicker, two, the tops were better. I haven't used Elmer's in eons, so I guess I don't really know, but I'm sure like everything else, things have been reduced. Alright, I'm lining it up with the same holes, squaring off my edge. This one must have a, hopefully it'll be alright. Let's see if I can get that. It needs to be very, because it has two hangers, it needs to be straight with the bottom. It's very important that that at least is right. What I'm having a challenge here with is, for some reason, the little hinge piece might be sticking out just a smidge. But I'm hoping it'll be okay. Alright, so there you have it. I just basically put holding frame brackets on a piece of pegboard for my display. And this was just a pattern in XTool templates. It was a free pattern. And made my own branded pegboard. Just like that. What do you think? That's just Now, did it take less time to do it this way than it would be to have squared up those other things? I have no idea because I gave up on it. But mine has a branding on it and my stuff is wood. So it goes better, right? Anyway, hey, do me a favor and like and subscribe. By the way, that stuff means a lot to a new channel like this. So the more I can get people to interact, the faster it will grow. And I'm hoping in time, things like, because I'd like to design some patterns. I'm going to put this one out someplace. Not sure how that works yet. But so that way people can do their own thing if they want to. It'll be an XTool file, I believe. I don't know if I can export otherwise. If I can, I will, okay? But either way, I'll make this kind of thing available to you. And soon, hopefully, if I can just get to the membership level on YouTube, which you guys can help me with a lot by subscribing and watching the video. That way I can give you guys any kind of patterns that I come up with that are mine. It's like this. I designed this. This one, the hangers or the stands, those aren't mine. Those were free from XTool. So, but the more that people help me out by subscribing, the better. So I appreciate you, and we shall see you on the next one. Go create something, y'all.